Hello one and all, this is Hybridsteel. Thank you very much for joining me in today's Car Mechanic Simulator story car number 4. Okay, so car number 4 is the 1999 Hinata Moon MK Sunrise. Okay, so here we are. The Hinata, it's actually not in a bad condition, it's just a little bit like fluffy down the side really. Cool, let's get it in and see what happens. Okay, so the first thing we always got to do, raise it up. Oh, grand. Okie dokie. So first off, what we got to do is just check through the note. Oh dear God. Right. Okay. So change your right. So we've got $4.5 left, and this is going to be a big problem, this car, because I don't have any like things to really get into why things aren't working. Drain oil. We can drain the oil. That's not too difficult. But if he's having problems with his gearbox, that's where I'm going to go straight away. So we're going to put the car straight in. We'll have a look under there, and we've got a couple of things we can do some testing on just to see if we can find a problem with the electricals or anything. But I think with this, if the car's having problems like moving, then it's all going to be drive. So yeah, we'll just have a look. So yeah, you got a problem with the steer. That's the steer suspension there. It looks like there's a couple of rubber bushings gone. That's gone there. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it all apart first and see where we go. And the reason why is just because I haven't really got a lot in the way of diagnostic tools. So I have got a couple of tools here, and we can see if we can reach into any sort of problem, and that's with things like this. So we'll do examination mode, and what we'll do is we'll play with the car a little bit. So additional tools. We'll do the Obd Scanner first. Okay, so the Obd Scanner has brought up ignition coils and spark plugs. That's not too shabby. Just quickly, 72% is the bare minimum. Okay, so we've got a couple of parts, so that's okay. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to rip through on the electronic meal time. Okay, so everything else is pretty much... So when it comes to these like 66%ers, that comes under this, repair with parts of minimum condition of 72%. Piston with concords, so this is in the piston as well, and the camshaft. Okay, tyres are fine as well. So apart from what we'll have to do now is we've got the camshaft to do, the ignition coil to do, the pistons with the conrods to do, and 2 of the spark plugs need repairing as well. The rest of this, because it's not electrical, it's just going to be parts. So we're looking at like the suspension parts, maybe the drive arm, that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm going to start ripping into this now. So we've got to go through all the end. I want to get the engine parts done first. As you can see, they're right in here, and then we're going to have to bore into this first before we do anything else. So this basically means that for when you attack this part first, you're going to have to drain these fluids out first, and that's all the fluids in the car, and then you have to refill it a bit later. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out this, and this, and that means taking half the engine block apart to get into what we need to take apart. And then once we've replaced that, which is in the block, then we can go through the rest of the car as well. Worst part about taking the camshaft out is you have to take off pretty much most of the moving parts just to get to the cam gear. Then you can take the camshaft, and it's just annoying. This is why when I was going to get my camshaft done ages ago, it would have cost so much money. Okay, so the other thing we've got to do is now we've taken out the problem parts within the block itself, but we still have to get into the actual piston rings as well. And the piston parts are actually underneath. So thankfully we have drained the oil. So we need to take the pan off. Then we need to take out the basically offending pistons. As you can see, it's, I don't know, the gear, that looks pretty bad as well. The flywheel looks like it's knackered. Alright, okay. The bearing cap, take that one. Take that one, and we're done in there. So it's this one here and this one. So this one, yeah. So we'll take the rod cap off, and it's this one as well. While we're under here, we have to take this off as well. This is another crankshaft cap, and basically this one's had it as well, so we have to replace that. But yeah, that's one of the offending pistons. That's the other offending piston, but we actually have to take the top of the block off. So that's going to be fun. Also, going by it, we actually have to look into the gearbox as well, because obviously the gearbox is knackered. The flywheel looks like it's a bit naffed. Now, he did mention the flywheel in the description, or he mentioned the gearbox. So we're going to have to do that as well. So that's going to be fun. It's just this bit's a pain in the arse. You have to take all these off just to get to the piston heads. Alright, so in order to get into the engine head, we have to take the intake pipes off, or the intake manifold. Now this means you have to take off the throttle, and it's just getting to these parts is just an inconvenience. And we have to take the turbocharger off. And this is all before we start work on the rest of the car as well. We should get a decent amount of experience after doing this, after having to basically tear apart an entire block. And now we have to take out the fuel rails, and now we can get to the pistons. Yay. And there we go. Yeah, we finally got to the problem. So this is just all engine at the moment. Now the other downside is I've got to get myself into the gearbox, because if you saw down here when we looked at this, the flywheel was knackered. But all this thankfully is because we're going to have to get into this, we might as well take the starter off now, because if we take it off now, we don't have to do it in a minute. Okay, so first off then, halfway through the shopping list, let me just pull up the list. So we've got to do cam gear, crankshaft, 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 and we've got to do rod cap, and we've got to do the timing chain. So far this is all we found. That's it. And that's an unbearable amount of work for what we've just done. So I think it said that we have to repair, but we can't repair because we haven't got a repair table. Anything that's 72%. So I'm just going to basically buy all the crap stuff that's broken. So one of those, and then we'll go exploring for the rest of the engine. So I'll skip forward now. Okay, and with these last two, the spark plug and ignition cores, we can't do it here. So we have to go over to the electrical section, and then we can buy them. Okay, so that's everything ordered from the list shop. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slap it all back together. And then obviously it's going to be boring, so I'll skip it now. Okie dokie chokey cokey. So let's get the rest of this mounted up, and then we're all good. Fantastic. Now we've got to raise up the car, and we've got to put all the stuff in on the bottom of it as well. And while it's up there, we can do all the other stuff. So let's get the engine put back in first, shall we? The worst part is I'm looking at that one's actually broken out as well. So we're going to have to unmount this. This one is black. Black normally means that it's worn. So we're going to have to remove this as well. And then we'll buy another one. All good. And then we slap this on there. And then that's the engine block done. Let's go through the list. Cam gear, camshaft, cranks, bearings, ignition coils, blah 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 blah. All good. And then we've got this long list of things that need to be discovered. This is all sort of underneath the car now, so we're pretty much done with this. The only thing that we're going to have to we're going to keep the bonnet open, because we're going to have to refill all the liquids, and we're going to have to put in the starter as well, because we're going to have to strip the gearbox out. And the reason why we're going to have to strip the gearbox out is because the gearbox is broken, so we need to get into the gearbox now. So I'm going to strip off the wheels, and then you'll see where we go. We have to take the sway bar off so we can take off the front sway bar. And obviously we can't do that until we take the other side off, but we need to take this off as well. It's literally stripping most of the front end of this car down just to get everything going. So again, we're going to have to take out... Let's just check the brakes. It's always good to check the brakes in this sort of thing, because if you've got problems with all the other stuff under, just keep an eye on it. Thankfully, that's all we've got to take when it comes to the suspension. So now all we've got to do is take the front sway bar off. Then we take the front drive shaft off. And then we make our way across the car, and we've got to take the gearbox off, because inside the gearbox was where I saw one of the problems. When we were stripping the engine out, we saw like the rust on the flywheel, so we need to get to that. See, clutch plate, flywheel, knackered. There we go. Right, I mean, there was a couple of little issues down the back as well. So whenever you see like a rusted bolt, normally there might be a problem. And there's our problem, the rear sway. So with the rear sway, we need to take off this bit here, and we have to go and do that on the other side of it as well. Cool, now we can get into this. Bit of W for D40, all good. Right, take off that. And what we'll do is we'll check our parts list. Obviously clutch plate was the one that we missed before. We need the flywheel, this one, that one. So with these, because we've finished them, it's always best to unselect them so you don't get yourself confused when you're trying to strip down other things. So we'll take off this bit, add that bit, and that one, and that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. So we've still got these things. We've still got these parts that need to be discovered. I think it's going to be things like the rubber bushings. As you can see, they look pretty, like they've gone. It's mainly rubber bushings by the looks of it. Okay, we'll check again. Oh, part not discovered. I think we're just going to be taking everything apart by this rate. I think I've seen our offending pieces. Oh, there's still one more part we haven't found. Oh, okay, it'll be the wheel. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so the last section of this is literally check your wheel bearings and the bushings, basically. Let's just go through this. So I'm going to whack the car together, and then I'll show you the list, and we'll go from there. Right. Fantastic. Part mount. Let's start from here, and let's work our way out. Yeah, first car to have lots of things that we didn't know where they were. So hopefully this video has actually helped you, because I think that's what a lot of people end up like doing. They look on like YouTube for the right answer. Right answer is basically all the things that you think are out, the things that you don't need, are probably things you actually do need. So yeah, apart from that, this one was alright. I actually didn't mind this car too much. When you get apart the engine, the rest of it is pretty simple. It's suspension, bearings, and rubber bushings. The engine part was the longest part, I would say, because it just takes so long to strip all that down just to get to the small parts. But apart from that, we're all good. So we should be completely finished. All that's done. That's done. Fantastic. Oh, what? Car is incomplete. There isn't. You what? I'm missing a roller. Oh, I'm actually missing half the. Yeah, I forgot to put this bit of the car back together. Let me just slap all this back together first, because yeah, we forgot about this. It would have been, hey, you're missing this. Hey, you're missing this. Hey, you're missing this. Yeah, I'm missing half a fucking car. Well, I'm missing half an engine by the looks of it. I can go in, and then we put the cover back on. That should be it now. Here we go. No! Oh yeah, I'm missing. Oh no! The thing that I took off the most been just saying, yeah, I might have to put this back later. The starter. Have we finished now? Yes! Alright, cool. There we go, guys. Completely finished. What a job. That was amazing. So if this video has helped any of you out there, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, notification button below for all of that. I'll be back here with a brand new video, live stream, or whatever else I do on this channel. Until then, guys, I want to say thank you very much for popping by. It means the most. And if you do want to help this poor little gamer out, don't forget underneath this video there's a little join button. You can become a member there, and your £2 a month goes towards feeding a poor gamer. So thank you very much for kicking by. I'll see you all later. Peace out, have fun, and enjoy everything you guys do. Bye bye for now.